Hello, this is a JayleShark and Friends
And Russell.
and Russell podcast. And on today's show, it's our birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
In today's bumper birthday show, we look back at the year of the JayleShark and Friends and Russell podcast. We talk about where it all started, the first show, what's happened in the past crazy 52 weeks, highlights from some of the amazing guests, sport with no fans, and then we get deep into tribalism, racism, and feminism. That's right, we're keeping it light. Thank you to everyone that has been part of this amazing journey in the past year. Guests, you the listener, and of course I should say thank you to Russell because he's kind of integral to the whole thing. Anyway, enjoy the show. Welcome to the podcast. Now you can sing happy birthday. We're doing it together. Happy birthday to us. I'm not looking at you because you were looking at me and I couldn't do it. Welcome to the podcast. Russell Distance Russell.
Welcome, Matthew Stewart Walker.
Shark. Wow. Losing my real name on my birthday. That's always a great start to the day. Thanks for that. Twat. Good start to the podcast. Congratulations on making it to 1 year.
No, congratulations to you because you started this puppy.
No.
I just came along for the ride.
No, we started this and...
look at you being a team player.
There's no I in team, Russell, but there's definitely a you in something. It's been a year. This is our 52nd.
52th.
It's our 52th episode. We're back.
It's quite bizarre, isn't it, when you think about it?
We've got through it, survived.
Well, no, I mean, because we're back in the original studio for a start.
Yes, we're back at Russell's...
Casadel K9.
The original Casadel K9.
The original Casadel K9.
The studio with... we always used to talk about the doggies that we had here, and today we've got the Sassmeister.
Well, she lives here, to be fair.
That's very true. And a new one called Naya.
And Naya Bear.
Naya is a German... a German Alsatian or just an Alsatian? German Shepherd.
German Shepherd or Alsatian, depending on...
There you go. So it all started back in... 1952, Russell, when we started doing this. I'm just looking back. Go on.
Who was our fifth?
Sorry?
Who was our fifth pod?
That's a random question.
Well, no, it's not random. It's a point to it.
Okay.
But when we started, it was a case of it was going to be you and I.
Okay.
And then we would occasionally have guests come in, and obviously it's morphed into we have a guest pretty much on every show that we've done. But I vaguely remember around the fifth.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, we've done 5 podcasts. It was quite a monumental. We've done 5 of these back to back, right?
Yeah, you're not going to like this answer. Number 5.
Number 5.
It's a good game to play, though. The listener will love it if we sit here and I just go, you name all the old guests. Number 5 was Stephen Peppers. The lovely Stephen Peppers, the Arsenal fan that brings us onto the tribalistic stuff that I really want to talk about, but I'm not sure I want to bring up that today.
Well, we can touch on it
briefly.
We've got Liverpool Arsenal this week. Tomorrow, is it tonight?
It's tonight, Russell.
Tonight, yeah.
Well, it's Monday, so it would have happened by the time these people listen. Listener, listen to this, and you're probably not even into football. After the amount of ladies we're going to have listening to us after last week's meeting.
You never know. Ladies like football too.
That's right. They just can't play it. Start as I mean to go on. I'm joking. There's some very good lesbian football players out there. Short hair. Is that wrong?
It's technically correct.
It's not, is it? There's some good... No, joking aside, women can play football just after they've done ironing and played with kittens. Stop it. Now, you see... This is the thing. And I was about to have this whole thing. I was going to sit here. And I drove here today, Russell, thinking...
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this.
I drove here today thinking, do you know what? Over the weekend, I've been thinking about what to talk about. And I was like, I really want to talk about the tribalistic thing. We went to a meeting last week, the network, which was a really cool meeting. And you basically sit around the table and you talk about what you're doing, where you want to go,
and how to help and also how to help each other. You know, what skills have we got that can help someone else's business.
So the group there would give you some advice of what to do and just kind of be creative. It's creative brainstorming.
Can I flag something in particular? And I think this is
your new hair.
Well, that too.
When did you get your hair cut?
Where?
No, when?
When? Yesterday before.
Okay. That's some people would call that Saturday.
Yeah.
You can say it yesterday, the day before. That's fine.
Yeah, yesterday before. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
One thing that did flag up at that particular meeting, which I think is fair to share, it's very personal for you, but it's pertinent for the podcast because this is kind of how the podcast all started. But one of the people in the group was very vocal towards the fact that she's been suffering quite seriously from depression over the last few years, and it kind of came out at the table. Not that anyone was expecting it; it just kind of came out from her. And you very quickly jumped in and said something which I thought was quite powerful and quite profound and very not Jay the Shark.
Oh right,
but
I was normal.
But it fitted into the moment, and it was perfect. It was well timed, and it was exactly what I think she needed to hear.
My God, you've just given me praise.
Yes, let's move on.
And that was really proper praise as well. Well, celebration. What? Tribalistic stuff. Yeah, no, it was the network. Join the network if you want to get some. It was good. It was just we were surrounded by 8 beautiful other ladies. I say other ladies because we're not ladies.
True.
But we were surrounded by 8 or 9 other ladies.
I lost count. It was brilliant.
It was brilliant, actually. I mean, if you think about it, 9 ladies and you and me. That's a hell of a night.
Yeah.
At one point, I did put my keys in the middle of the table, which I'm not sure went down too well.
Yeah.
That
was early doors.
That and asking for a blowjob didn't go down very well either.
Oh, Blowfish, the wine. Yes. Yeah.
My joke of blowjob wasn't very well
Know
accepted.
your audience, mate. Know your audience.
Yeah, I didn't know my audience.
I mean, that was early doors, but I think they warmed up to it. I think they sort of realised after a while.
Yeah, after they've all drunk a load of alcohol, they were fine.
They were fine then, yeah.
No, but it is good if you want to go and join the network. There were some very strong opinions that came out, and some good opinions, and some, not so good opinions. Or not opinions is the wrong word. Some good advice and some different advice, and it was worth. I came out of it thinking, some good ideas there.
The idea. I mean, the network started, I think, a year ago. It might be more, but the idea for these particular meetings was, just as we were saying, it's just about, because we're all in a bit of a funk with business, right? Everyone's struggling at the minute. So, and when things start to get heavy, we start to internalize. We're just focused and narrow-minded on what we're doing and the same old thing. So it's good to sort of sit around a group with other people, because they'll give you outside. Well, have you thought about this? And have you thought about? Because this is what I'm doing, and maybe that would work for you. And you're right. Some of the ideas are brilliant. Some you kind of think, okay, yeah, fine, maybe not from what I'm doing, or I don't agree with that, which is totally cool. But it's being in that melting pot of ideas.
Melting pot.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And there was, or even if two other people are talking about their businesses and their ideas, which are nothing to do with what I'm doing, but all of a sudden you think, oh, that's a golden nugget. That is, I could use that, or hey, you just sort of follow on through. And if it means we're helping people, great, tick the box. If it means we're getting some help as well, great, it ticks the box.
I didn't follow through that night. I'm very controlled with my bowel movement nowadays,
which is good. So I mean, at your
see what
age,
I did there though. I waited for you to finish your whole conversation, or your
sort of.
Yeah,
My
and
monologue.
then I interrupted.
Yes.
No, it was good. Do I sound really... No, I'm just tired. It's Monday morning. We did say we'd never pod on Monday morning. Anyway, let's get back to it. So it's been a year. We've already jumped in and started talking about the network. But it is... I'll go back. Join the network. It's worth it. There were some good ideas there, and there's some lovely... and it's a support group. I didn't really want to go, I have to say. You came and held my hand, which probably made it worse. But we did have a nice evening.
There were a couple of times I was sitting there thinking, this is... There are times and places that you and I should not be together.
That was one of them, I think.
That was one of the... If it's a mature, sensible, sit-down discussion, it's probably... But we shouldn't have been sat together for a start.
No, probably not. You shouldn't be sat on my lap. That was the weird thing about it. The whole night. Anyway, the network. Go join. No, it's worth it because it is...
8 times you say go join the network. I think people get the idea now.
Go join the network. It's on Facebook. Have I said it 8 times?
Probably.
So, it's been a year. So we listened back. Did you listen back to
I did indeed, yeah.
It was funny. You sent me a message over the weekend saying Naomi Campbell, which I absolutely pissed myself at because then obviously I'd listened back to the first podcast as well. And in it, you were trying to describe a tall model who was from African descent. And for the life of you couldn't think of it. And I couldn't think of it.
It was a Harry Enfield sketch. because I want a brown baby, and that was her, right?
And that was it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to the first podcast, you won't get that.
Or Harry Enfield.
Or Harry Enfield.
Yeah.
But no, it was, the first podcast, long time ago. And it's kind of morphed into this amazing journey that we've been on. And I think that's the key thing. It has morphed into a journey of, we didn't know where it was going or where the path we were taking. We just kind of just jumped on the road and said, do you know what? Sometimes you just got to jump on and just go with it and see what happens. Which
is exactly how it started. And that was you were saying, we've got to do something. And it went on for months. And I think you rocked up one day and said, right, we're recording.
Yeah, and I think I was the one that was pronascitating about the whole thing. And we, like I said, I think we've had this conversation before, but we'll
rehash it.
Thank you. We recorded so many different times with so much different equipment, with different microphones, with phones, with computers, with all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And bottom line, it just got to the point where I was like, let's just JFDI.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to fucking do it. And
I think people knew what JFDI meant, but thanks for explaining.
Some people might not know what JFDI is. Not everyone's
we
as
don't
smart
want those
as you are.
Listening.
You're looking very handsome today. So, looking back over the year,
what was your highlight?
Anna Rose.
That's gold. It was just a golden answer right there.
I didn't need to do any research,
no,
to be honest.
All.
I knew this would come up as like, who's your favourite guest?
Anna
peak. Rose.
Yeah.
No, I did love Anna Rose. But I think she was the... it's like anything. It's like she was our interview virgin.
Yeah.
And she was very good.
She was brilliant, actually.
We were awful. Well, no, I was awful. You weren't so awful. I was a nervous little wreck. You were fine. You just rocked in there being Russell. Didn't care. I rocked in there nervous as hell, not knowing about...
To be fair, you fancied her a wee bit, which...
A wee bit?
Yeah.
She's a gorgeous lady and does loads of good work for charity. How can you not like someone like that?
Yeah. And there was that plus first podcast with a guest. So
and a lady and a girl. I was very nervous.
Man.
Not that girls just have to be pretty to make me nervous. Ugly girls make me nervous too. Try to run away from them. Talking of that, the network. That was a joke. Oh, no, see. Didn't work. You're right. Know your audience. Didn't know it. No, Anna Rose. I can't say she was my favourite because there's been tippets from everyone that I think that I've gathered. But I think for Anna Rose one, it was an interesting one because it was the first time we kind of recorded outside of our comfort zone of being in your studio.
And with a guest.
And I think the whole thing was, and it's been that was the first step along the path of interviewing people.
Actually, because we've had lots of different guests, we've had lots of stories, like you said, little snippets that have come out.
Yeah.
Recently, Debbie being a chemical scientist, nuclear
cosmetic scientist.
Just like, well, where did that come
from? And she killed rabbits. But she doesn't like to mention that bit.
What's his name? Being an au pair.
Oh yeah, he was a pirate ship au pair.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
let me get my piece out. He was a pirate ship au pair.
Yeah, just loads of sort of weird stuff like that that's just come out of different sort of pods. I mean, even Anna's story, to be fair, was pretty gnarly.
Oh, the dude coming into her room.
Yeah. So, so I mean, there's been lots of interesting stuff that's popped up.
And Anna Rose is a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's from Texas. You know what to expect.
There's only two things that come from Texas.
Keep chatting, I'm drinking my coffee.
Okay, Russell's drinking. We have drunk a lot of coffee during this. Here, do you remember this? Should we? I don't want to go through each and every one and have because we did that. Remember we did that once.
We rated them, I think.
Yeah, someone got really upset with us.
Steve, because we gave him a 4.
Oh no, there was someone that actually took it really quite seriously and actually came on.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Someone that you're not overly keen on.
Oh, I know exactly who you mean.
Exactly. We'll leave that one out there. Do you know who I'd like to go back? We should go and revisit some.
Yeah, I do know exactly who you'd like to go back to.
Yeah.
Apart from that, who else?
Well, do you know what? Anna Rose now is in Vietnam. This is the interesting thing. A lot of the people, well, if we see back with the people we've talked to, and some of them now, obviously with this whole situation, some have moved on, some have not moved on, some are in different situations. Anna Rose is now in Vietnam doing an amazing job for charity. She's working with animals over there.
So Vietnam is the up and coming place to go.
Well, it was. It's not now. You can't get in.
Well,
will it come back? I guess it will.
Yeah. I mean, once. All right. If you want to get onto the whole COVID thing momentarily, we will move on from this in one way, shape, or form or another. I imagine this all hangs on a vaccine. I can't see.
Have we interviewed her?
Who vaccine? We could put her on the list if you like.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah. Hey, Big Eye and Janice, I'd like to interview again.
Cool. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you why for that one. I remember when we did that one. That was episode 8.
Okay.
that was when I was really messed. That was the first time we did 4 people recording, and that was a nightmare. That was so stressful recording that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had 84 things plugged in, different microphones in different people's orifices. They were off smoking fags the whole time.
But they were good value. They were really good with it. They weren't like a nervous.
That's good noise for the pod.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just me moving the chair. Sorry, Nye. Just disturbed your slumber as well. Yeah, so in terms of the pod, I thought that one worked out quite well.
Do you feel that you like where the pod's going?
Was
it something? Because obviously, I mean, look, this is my kind of thing. I've dragged you along, and I've never really probably talked to you about this. I've dragged you along for the ride, and you've got your own businesses and your own stuff and your own shit going on. I mean, hold on, don't interrupt. I don't interrupt you ever.
Carry on. Sorry, Jay.
That's all right. I hate it because I forget things. I think I've used this as an open forum to really open up about stuff. And it's been my journey that I've dragged you along in a headlock, kicking and screaming probably most of the time. And it's interesting that you do have your own business. You do have your own relationship.
Yeah. she doesn't know about
She doesn't know about those ones. But you have your own things going on, and you obviously do spend time with me, which can become a little bit annoying. I have to say, I'm not the easiest person to get on with.
Really?
But, yeah, really. But what's the journey been like for you with this podcast?
I've enjoyed it. No, genuinely, seriously, I have. I mean, there's been times.
This sounds like it's going to be the end.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it. It's been great.
It's been great. However,
I got a beach club now to run.
Yeah.
Do you have a beach club, buddy?
I've got a beach club. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before. We've got a beach.
Can you have dog birthdays up there?
We did. We had our first sort of dog bark day party yesterday, which was fun. So
I saw that. We'll talk about your beach club.
We will indeed.
So the journey.
No, it's been fun. Like I said, it's been interesting. Not really knowing where it was going to go, and not really having a plan, and just being kind of just see what happens. I think at the beginning wanted to go down the route of interviewing people and having chats with them. So, which is kind of the way it's gone anyway, which is cool.
You got what you want.
Got what I want. So yeah, I'm happy.
Interesting.
No, I mean, look, we had some fun ones, and we've had some quirky ones when it's just like, oh, it's just been too busy, or you've been stressed, I've been stressed because we've both got work and what have you. So that's always fun. But that's the same with anything, right?
Yeah. Do you think though that we've
nailed? I really enjoy doing this bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do enjoy doing this bit. I mean, there's only been. I don't think I've had I didn't like the online ones during the lockdown. Yeah. Although they were okay, but I just like to be in the vicinity of people.
It's better to be with the people. And you can, I mean, like if you speak to teachers at the minute, right? They're just and even the kids, they're enjoying being back in the classroom with their friends. The teachers are enjoying being back in the room with the kids. Everyone hated doing it online.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. But given improvise, adapt, and overcome during the situation, that's the only option that we had, or we just shelved it until we could get back together with people. And also, like you say, people have moved on. So if we wanted to re-interview Anna at some point, just for a catch-up, and I think it might be fun to go back to some of the early ones and redo them, just to see how the story has evolved. Eric was great, and obviously he's stuck in the States and still stuck there.
That's quite a recent one, yeah.
Yeah, but God knows when he'll be able to get back. So
yeah, it's an interesting. I guess it's been interesting to see different people's, especially since the lockdown, because since we started this podcast, we have had a crazy pandemic. Not the world's worst pandemic, let's say, but it is
in our lifetime.
In our lifetimes, for sure. And that has affected lots of people's lives, and people have to have adjusted. And we've adjusted to what we've done. And we try to, I don't want to go back to the network, but I am. But when we first started, we offered our services out there as ideas. We were brainstorming. We were saying, look, we're here. If people want to brainstorm about their business, give us a shout. We wanted to help out. And I think that's the key thing is there has been some... And then we did our podcast of positivity.
Yep.
Which I think
the mental health one was good.
Well, yeah, the mental health one was really good. Actually, I was going to touch on mental health. How's your mental health?
Mine?
Yeah.
Right now, fine.
Okay.
To be completely honest. Thank you for asking.
That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, are you in relation to anything like my particular situation?
New haircut,
yeah.
No, I just think it's interesting that you've opened a brand new business, and you've obviously got, your personal battle between you and whether or not you're gay or not. I think is. People might not realise the fight you're having inside. And I just wondered if you just wanted to open up about that or not.
Right. Well, thank you for the the healthy introduction.
You bender. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
There's a hashtag in there somewhere. I can't quite put my finger on it. And it's probably a bad expression to use as well.
The mental health one. Yeah, the mental health's interesting. Do you know what? It was interesting. I was thinking last night, I dropped my kids off at their grandmother's house, as I always do now on a Sunday night. And I have a real low when I do that, a real massive low. And I think you just get not used to it, because you'll never get used to it, but you have to ride those waves.
The low?
Yeah, because I don't want my kids to be living with their grandma or their mother. I want their kids to be living with me and a family. So you miss them. The same as you would miss your doggies.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't have kids, but if you had to drop Sass off at my house and then you didn't see her, or you did see her, because, look, it's not that bad. I go and pick them up this morning, little bastards were asleep in the car when I went to school. But you still get a little low. But I think the mental health, going back to the mental health one when we talked to Rob Morgan from KIS Fitness, he's stuck in Australia.
Yep.
Bless him, with his newborn baby, Summer. Beautiful little thing. I love the name Summer. I've got a lot of time for Summer.
I prefer fall myself. I like the autumn leaves.
So why did you say the word fall?
It just popped in there.
Did it?
Yeah.
American. Mental health. Just having a moment then. Sorry, I was just having a moment to think about it.
You just sort of locked off into the distance.
Well, it's just something that I don't want to bang on about it, but it's just if you are out there, because I've got a few worries about people, especially nowadays.
It's quite bizarre. So just to jump in, I've just had a text message come through from Rob Morgan.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Is he listening?
I hope
Friggin'
not.
hell, Rob.
That'd be quite scary.
How are you listening live? What are you doing, weirdo? How is he? What does the text say? Can you read it out? 48 burpees now, Russell.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing your burpees?
Yeah.
Eat proper. It was really funny. Actually, he put a post on Facebook the other day saying he's having a beer and the reasons why he's having a beer. And then someone's like, well, why do you have to justify having a beer? And so sometimes, it's weird that someone in that industry probably has to justify that he's having a beer because people think beer is bad.
I think for him as well, it's not so much for him. It's more for us or for people that are like...
It's not for me.
Yeah, it's for people like, we're trying to be fit, we're trying to be healthy, and so on. I can't have a beer, and you sort of... I think a lot of people, especially in the fitness... And I've done this. I know this from personal experience. You kind of go through these cyclical phases. Because, right, that's it. It's Monday. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to start working out. I'm not going to eat any sugar. I'm not going to drink any beer. And you kind of go completely cold turkey. And then 3 days later, you're completely fucking off. I'm having a few beers. I'm having a curry. I don't give a shit anymore. So the point was like, for something like that is you can have a beer. You can. I mean, moderation is the wonderful buzzword, right? But there's nothing wrong with having a beer or two. There's nothing wrong with having a pizza. There's nothing wrong with having a slice of cake. There's nothing wrong with these things. But yeah, if that's all you're ever doing, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. So it's about having a healthy balance.
Talking of cake.
Talking of cake, we've got birthday cake.
We've got birthday cakes today. I'm such a cheapskate though. I only brought one. And it's an eclair, and it's my favourite. I like eclairs.
There you go. You can have 2/3 of it.
No, we've had some interesting journeys. Yeah, the mental health one I think is key. And if we've opened up people's minds, well, not so much open up people's minds, if we've made an impact so people can think about it, that's great. That's all I want is just people to think about it. And we have had people come up to us and say, thank you very much. We listened to one of your podcasts. I'm like, why didn't you listen to the other 51? They say because they're shit. And I said, yeah, you're right. But if it does open up people's minds to talk about it, then that's great. And in fact, off air, just remind me, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay.
There's someone I think...
there's something I've got to tell you as well.
Oh. Should we do it on the podcast? Since we've started the podcast a year ago, Liverpool have won the league.
They have indeed.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the other way of swegwayed?
I've
swegwayed into soccer.
Soccer. Yeah, brilliant.
So we've talked about how do you feel about the new sporting Premier League starting?
Just sport in general.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's a topic for you because you're a sporty type guy.
Yeah, I've been watching the cricket, been watching the rugby, been watching the football. The French Open's just started. Been watching some of the tennis. Golf, not too bothered about that anyway. It's weird. It's really weird. Just because there's no fans, obviously. So, and I find it weird watching the games. And if you're watching it on Sky or whatever, you've got two options that you can listen to it on one channel with piped-in sound, which is, for the general flow, is quite good. But it's always like someone hits a shot and it just misses the post, and the crowd response is always just a fraction of a second too late because it's piped. So that's a bit weird, but just
pipe music, not like Chilean pipe music.
No,
it's like
pan pipes,
not in the Andes, because that'd be really funny if they're just the guys there just playing the little pan pipes.
So that's kind of odd, but
do you like it though? Because the reason being, NFL obviously has just kicked off as well.
Yeah.
Now apparently the viewing figures for the NFL have dropped right off.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what the viewing figures for the Premier League are.
I would argue with the NFL, it's a little bit different because of the political fallout in America at the minute, and I would wager guess that there's a lot of it to do with that.
Oh, should we talk about politics and religion? Let's go crazy.
We can happily talk about politics if you like, because America's about to burn both. I mean, it's literally burning at the minute. It is.
Well, I'm disappointed you're not wearing your cap that I bought you. In all fairness, I'm very disappointed about that present. Do you feel that sports should be going on? Is it important that sports happening? What's the reason that you go to for example, in England, you can go to the pub, but you can't go to a stadium.
So, okay, well, here's one for you. And it's better than that. So, the latest restriction is pubs have to close at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So you also are aware that Liverpool and Arsenal are playing this evening.
Yep.
And the match will finish just after 10 o'clock.
Haven't they moved it forward, Tully?
No.
So I thought they were moving it from 8:30 to 8, so the game would technically finish before 10.
It's just like... But what's the point in saying we're going to close at 10 o'clock? Because it doesn't mean that people can say, we're just not going to bother going out. They'll go out either a little bit earlier, or they'll go out en masse and have more people in the pub drinking at the same time, and then more people out in the streets close together at the same time. It's fucking bonkers. And I mentioned this to come back to your first question. Should we allow people back in the grounds and what have you? I think, it's important to have sport back playing across all forms, because people like it, people want it, and people I quite happily enjoy my Saturdays. I watched the Grand Prix yesterday, I watched some of the rugby over the weekend, I watched the football. I was happy, I got engaged with it. And if that's not on...
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And if that's not on, it's like, well, all right, I might watch a movie or something, but I want that sport fix, as do millions of other people around the world. So for that element, it's great. In terms of, are we at a stage where we should have fans back in the stadia? My personal view is, in terms of this COVID thing, I kind of feel like I'm over it. I kind of feel...
You're over COVID?
Not physically like I've had it and I'm over the effects of it. Although,
just like to say, for the record, Russell has not had COVID.
Well, no, that's not
but we don't know.
Necessarily true.
Oh.
I'm fairly confident the majority of us have had it in some way, shape or form. If you talk to a lot of the parents, they will say at the back end of last year, November, December, loads of people were getting sick, loads of people were feeling poorly, and were going home saying, I've never felt this bad, or the kids never get this badly ill. And they have probably gone through that cycle. And it was the height of the high season, shed load of Chinese tourists here, not blaming them per se, but that's where it came from. So
you should wear your cap when you say stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it would stand to reason that it was here a long time ago. And if you look at the reasons why they're shutting down parts of the UK again now, it's because cases are spiking. We have nearly 5,000 cases per day, which is close to what it was around March and April time. So they're worried that we're back to the same sort of level. My view is, well, back in March and April, we were only testing people in hospitals. We were only testing people that were over 75 and might be at risk. Now we're testing fucking everyone. Right? They were trying to get up to a couple of 100,000 people a day in testing. All right, they haven't made that many, but even so, it's mass testing. So, of course, you're going to have a massive rise in cases. That doesn't mean that there's more cases now. It means that back in March and April, there were probably hundreds of thousands of cases. Hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, that had it and have gone through it, might still be carriers. And the next follow-on as well, you and I might have it or have had it. So we're totally fine, but we might still be able to infect other people. I understand that dilemma. But at some point, if you look at the state of the world as it is, I mean, take America aside because that's another kettle of fish. But economically, I mean, take Phuket. This is where we are, right? It's devastating. And the full effects of this are only going to start to come to the fore like now, when we get into this high season and there's nothing here. So we need to kind of move on.
So that's a podcast. Thank you very much, Russell.
You're welcome.
I don't disagree with you. However, the big thing is, is how you care for people that are sick. And isn't that the problem, is the fact that if everyone's sick at one time, the care system just cannot.
Just can't handle it.
Just can't handle it. So that's what they're trying to do. And the reason that I agree, the more testing shows that more people are going to have it if you test more people, then that's statistics. I mean, that's my brother, who's a mathematician, very famous mathematician, may I add. Einstein, I don't know if you've heard of him. Was he a mathematician? He was a physics man. Oh, fuck it. Statistically, yeah, you can move statistics around, for sure.
Lies, and damn statistics.
But now that all the kids are going back to university, so I'm going back to the 10 o'clock. The reason for the 10 o'clock shut-in is the same thing, as you want people off. You don't want them out drinking for a long period of time, because that's when things happen. Because 17, 18, 19-year-olds, 20, 21-year-olds for America, wherever, that's the time where you don't care. Everything's fine. Just go out drinking and you don't give a flying monkey's arse about it.
I agree with that. But at the same time, just saying we're going to shut the pubs an hour or two earlier doesn't make a jot of fucking difference.
No,
you either shut them completely, in which case they'll go and have house parties, even though they're not allowed to. They will find a way. But knocking an hour off the drinking time just makes no sense.
No, I kind of agree but disagree, because that's what the government says, and I support everything the government say because I care. Give me some of your other highlights from the podcast, not from the COVID craziness.
Give me some names. Who have we interviewed? Run through the list quickly.
All right. We did. Do you want them all?
No, just pick out a few names and let's see what we can remember.
Silvano, he's left the island.
Has he left?
He's gone. He's out of here. I think he's in Bangkok.
Oh, okay. So he's not gone too far then.
He's probably up in Bangkok doing exactly that.
Right.
Sumi, I saw her the other day, drunk as a
Sumi's
skunk.
Lovely.
She's lovely. Do you know why Sumi is lovely?
She's very quiet and unassuming.
And then get her out on a Friday night,
and she's mental.
She's a friggin' nutter. No, she's lovely, Sumi. She does a great work for charity, and she's gorgeous.
Yes.
Love you, Sumi. Stacey.
And to be fair, we should probably big up what these people are doing. So
What's
like
Sumi doing?
Silvano, for example.
Yeah.
Does he have a website that we should be promoting?
My favourite sound, my sounds. Hold on, I'll open.
See, if we'd done a bit of planning for the podcast.
My own private sound.
There you go.
Just go to my own private sound. I'm not sure if he's still doing it. I think he is.
We'll plug it anyway.
Okay. Samui, not Samui. Sumi is obviously from the Phuket Hotels Association.
Probably needing a lot of help right now.
Yeah, they probably do need a lot of help right now, but don't build so many next time. Is that bad? You smiled. Don't get away with it, because I saw that smile. It's true, though.
No.
You have to. There has to be a point where you can't. I understand that everyone's going through. I'm going through shit.
Yeah.
Right? I've lost loads of money. I'm living month on month now. I don't go and over. I didn't buy a big car. I didn't do. So sometimes don't build hotels when there's enough of them.
Yeah.
Darian Fox from Darian Fox type thing. She's foxy and hot.
Yeah. You quite liked her, didn't you?
I still like her. She's from Sons of David. They're doing some good stuff down Laguna Beach, which is in Rawai. It's a nightclub.
I think they're down in Rawai, actually.
Yeah. So Sons of David, which is obviously the DJ, Russell.
Yeah.
Thank you. They're doing, actually, because we did Russell, we did his friend Christine, just in case her mum and dad are listening. They're not together, mum and dad, Christine. And I've ruined that now, haven't I? Yeah, fuck it. They've been together for years.
The whole family.
Yeah. So's he. And Darian Fox, who strangely enough lives with them, which is it's a weird dynamic, but it seems to work, and it's good for them. But no, I like Darian. She's lovely.
Good singer.
Yeah, she's a great
Really
singer. She is a great singer, and she will go far if she gets her act together and pushes herself. Lovely beer.
Oh, beer, yeah.
Fake boobs beer, as I like to call her now.
Yeah.
I can say it. She won't be listening.
And she's awesome. She's done lots of design work for me, and she's been great.
Yeah, she has, and actually
Have you seen my ads in the paper?
I have seen your ads in the paper. Have you heard your radio advert?
I have.
That's very good.
It's awesome. Well put together, that.
Thanks.
And 2, 3 of the voices, no, all of the voices have been on the pod.
Yes, they have.
We have indeed.
Yes, they have. Oh, we haven't talked about we should get the Colonel back.
We should definitely get the Colonel back.
He was on good form the other night.
Yeah, he's always, the Colonel's always on good form.
Do you know who I'd like to do again, so to speak? Is Donna Toon.
Donna.
Because Donna was a great one.
And when we get her back, can we get her top 10 tracks of all time?
You want to do that? Should we just take the piss out of that one?
I think we should.
I wonder if she's ever been asked what her top 10 tracks are.
I think we should get her back on the pod and ask her exactly that. Donna, if you're listening, you've now got a little bit of time. I want your top 10 tracks of all time.
She's she works hard. She's a roundabout. She does a lot of ladies that do lunch, to be fair. But she's on the parent-teacher network with me, at KIS. Other schools are available. I know. So just we go and have champagne a lot.
Yeah.
Isabella from Isabella Dots. She was lovely.
Oh, I wouldn't mind touching base to see how she's getting on at the minute as well.
Sorry,
again,
what did you say then?
I said I wouldn't mind touching base to see how she's getting on. Not touching, but anyway.
And then
I tell you what, it's just been a completely bonkers year, has it not?
It's been a bonkers year, and I'm just looking through the different people we've interviewed this year, and it's such a weird mix of cultures, of people, of different jobs, of different things. It has been an amazing journey. Martin, the Swedish chef. We talked about Christine. Sophie, who's now at Anise.
Yeah.
Tapas and Bar. Got that right. I talked to Lily. Oh, Lily was the Affair podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Which I've slowly forgiven you for.
Which have you forgiven me yet? You'll bring it up in about 6 months' time.
Probably, yeah.
Typical woman.
Well, funny you should mention the 6 months' time thing, because I think it will be very interesting. Well, I hope it'll be interesting in 6 months' time if we then go back to some of these people that we've interviewed in the last few months, because this is the heyday of COVID, right? You know, people we've interviewed during lockdown, people that we're interviewing sort of now that we're suffering with business and trying to scrabble and think, what can we do? And hopefully in 6 months' time, we're out of this. We're sort of back to quote unquote normal, or we're on the up and up. And just to see the progression and what have people done that's different, or have they just knuckled down and survived to get to this point, or if they had to change direction and do something slightly different.
I think that most people have changed direction, but I'm very happy to go back and, if I remember this in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
But the likes of Rianne from Summerlee Boxing Gym.
I was talking about her yesterday.
Were you?
We were indeed, because she went to buy the micro pig and it turned out to be a large pig.
Yeah.
So she basically bought a piglet and it grew.
Yeah. That's what most pigs do, grow. Who are you talking to about her to?
I think, Stam and Liam and Steve and Tash and Janice. Janice was there yesterday as well. And she mentioned about someone that had bought a piglet and it grew into a pig, and they were quite surprised because they thought it'd be a mini pig, because it was a mini pig.
Oh, I thought they were surprised it grew into from a baby pig grew into a pig. Not surprised it grew into a pig, but they thought it was a mini pig. They were hoping for a horse, or
they were hoping for a pig that went into a mini pig, and not a pig that went into a pig.
Right. Okay. Who's Jazz?
Janice.
Oh, Janice. Oh,
Janice.
She was at your place yesterday. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jay, hot Janice is here. Do you want to come over? Yeah, I'd love to. On my way.
It was a doggy bark day party.
No, I wasn't invited.
No, because you didn't have a doggy to bring. And if you had
brilliant.
If you had brought the doggy.
I'm sorry, but hold on.
Hold the phone.
Let's get back to the tribalistic bullshit that I like to go on about, because I
We haven't done that yet.
No, I know.
Well, let's just do it. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off. There's another Americanism for you.
Well, it's either that or it's religion or politics. Which one do you want?
We can do tribalism. We can do America's about to burn. Or we can talk about the complete bullshit that is religion.
No, because I think religion comes into tribalism. Everything's tribal. Okay.
And everything's politics.
Everything to me is tribal, and I don't like it.
Just before we dive into this fucking rabbit hole, I think
I don't think we'll go down that rabbit hole.
Two of our bigger listenership podcasts have been the positivity and the mental health one, if I'm correct.
No, the positivity one, no one really listened to. They didn't like our positive stuff.
Fuck off, then, can't they?
No, it was.
Should we do a positive, the podcast of negativity?
I don't want to say which ones, but look, overall, I can tell you how many listeners we've had in the last year, if you really want me to.
And I was just interested in the growth and whether there are any particular
It has
peaks.
grown, but there are some different peaks, and it's really interesting. There are some peaks. The you and I, the mental health one. Yeah, I mean, that did pretty well, but I think that was us being really open, and that was when we got Rob on as well. I stole some of his work. I did ask him for it.
Yeah, to be fair, but equally with the that was us. We were on a specific topic and being open about it and engaging and drawing other people in. So I think if we went down the route of doing a religion, a politics, tribalism pod, I think that also opens the realm for other people to start pitching in and saying, well, hang on a minute, I completely disagree with that, when surely disagree with most of the things that we say. Or that, you got a really good point there, and stirs engagement, as opposed to just a fun story that they're listening to from us, or more pertinently, other guests.
Yeah, I mean...
tribalism, go. What's your big issue? I was going to
go talk about the top tracks.
Nah, fuck it.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about this tribalistic thing and whether I miss it or I don't...
When you say tribalistic? What do
Okay,
you mean?
I
'Cause
hate.
you don't mean the triathlon group that used to be here years ago that Beer was involved with.
Are they called tribalistic?
Yes.
Stupid name. That's a good name. It really is.
It is
Thinking about
actually,
it. No, I fell out of love of football because I hated just because I followed a certain team,
Chelsea.
I would be without just being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Not strong. I just got bored of, people having being so opinionated about their club. A handball is a handball. Oh, it's not a handball. It is a handball. Offside, goals count, referees. Yeah. And I kind of just got bored with all that. And just because I support a team, I mean, the first thing you go into a bar, you're watching. What team do you support?
Yeah.
It's not, hi, what's your name? How are you? What do you do here? It's
who you
really
rooting
good.
for?
It's like, who you rooting for? Who's your team? Fuck you, you're a Chelsea fan, blue
Yeah.
scummery. And I just found that the banter, okay, there is banter there, and I understand there is part of it is banter, but when there's a thin line between banter and dicks, and I found that there was a lot of dicks, and that might have had a lot to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
But then it's not just football, it's when people just get together as small groups, and I don't feel I have a tribe anymore. And look, I'm in marketing, so I understand it's about building a tribe, and it's about building a group of people that follow you as a whatever, as a business or as a person. I feel that over the years, I don't really have a tribe. I'm almost like a wandering shepherd with my goat. Don't have a goat, but I'd love to have more than one. But I'm wandering, but I'm very happy to get into each different individual tribe. And I sit there and kind of think, oh, okay, this is interesting, but I'm not really engaged with everything that tribe is about or they believe in. Now, whether that be religion, whether that be a football team, whether that be a group of women, that want to go, oh, yeah, support women, women's rights, rah, 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 or support, or gays or ladyboys, whoever, whatever it is. I'm very happy to go to each of those different things and be part of it. But then I find... Because you wanted to really touch on racism at one point when the whole world was going crazy, which it still is going crazy about racism. And I wasn't really keen on doing it because I've never been...
I'm actually more keen to do it now. And I think now would be a better time to do it because we've got over that... we're not over the effects of racism, but we're over it was massive in the news. It was the hot potato news topic when George Floyd got killed a few weeks ago. And then what's the name, Breonna Taylor.
Sorry, I don't mean to make a joke about it. I thought you were going to say George Foreman. I thought he did a great grill though. To be fair. Sorry, it's a terrible joke.
But for me, I kind of think part of the problem with any of these debates is something happens, the touch paper gets lit, and everything just kind of goes whoosh. I mean, we have all these massive debates in the moment, and then everything passes and we kind of go back to normal. So for me, I kind of feel, particularly with something like racism, now that we're all off talking about other things and what have you, and it seems to, a lot of people have not forgotten about it, but it's okay, yeah, it's old news now. Now would be a better time to have that discussion in a calmer, I was going to say less politicized, but it's still politicized, but it's not. It doesn't feel like it's as burning as it was a few weeks ago.
Do you think I'm a racist?
I think everyone is a racist.
I wasn't expecting that answer. Do you think I'm a sexist pig?
No.
Here's the hold on, let me finish. This is a serious point. Do you think that I am privileged? Me. Not what, just am I privileged? So let me ask those questions again.
Okay.
Just me here sat in front of you.
Sat in front of you.
Am I a racist?
No.
Am I a sexist pig?
No.
Am I, what was the other one?
Privileged.
Thank you. Am I privileged?
Comparatively.
Oh, I didn't expect that answer. But as a white person, as soon as I step out or anywhere, I am perceived as, if I step in a group of women, I'm a sexist pig because I'm a white man. Or not just a white man, I'm a man. Sorry, I take colour out of it. And this is what I'm trying to really hate. And it's not just about that. It's about, I'm racist because I'm white and I'm a man. I'm not racist. But people perceive this as, and no one seems to really... I know that there's lots of people screaming and shouting about feminism, veganism. I'll bring that in as well. Oh, pretty bird in your tree. But just because they've got such strong vocal opinions doesn't make them right or wrong. Mm-hmm. And what annoys me is I just don't want to get into these debates about it because they won't listen to reason. And I feel, and I'll be serious with you, that night last week, I felt intimidated and I felt that I was being put down in that environment. Now, that might be because I'm a too sensitive geekoid, or I overthink everything too much. Might be the paranoia, I don't know why, 420. But that's how my feelings were coming across. Now, rightly or wrongly for that, I don't know. And that probably wasn't how it was, it was meant to be, whatever. But that's how I felt. And that's how that group made me feel.
Okay, in that exact scenario, I would argue it was more just that was how you were interpreting it and how you were feeling at that given moment. Do I think you're a racist, sexist? No. Have you cracked a lot of racist, sexist jokes? Fuck yes. Have I? Fuck yes. It's what we do. I think the big thing for me is that term banter. You mentioned it a second ago. There's banter, and that's okay. And for me, the attack on that word, you can't say sexist, racist things and just, it's just banter, mate. There is a fine line. And there's a fine line between, like you and I, if we're sitting here having a conversation, we can say the deepest, darkest things that you just shouldn't say in public.
And you know what I want to say now.
Yeah. So, but that's us. And we can have that as banter between us. We know it's probably wrong. No, it's not probably. We know it's wrong. And all of that, but you'll still say it. And for anyone that's listening to this pod and say, well, if you're using any racist language in any setting, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I want you to stop and check yourself, because there have been times when even in your own head, you thought that. That doesn't make you a racist. For me. Unless you're generally sitting there saying, oh, I hate all black people, and you genuinely mean it. That's different. If we're just cracking a joke and having a laugh, that's one thing. If we've got people here that are offended by that is either sitting here having a chat, if I say something to you and someone over here that's not involved in my conversation hears it and they're genuinely offended by it, I then want to look at intention. Because for me, that's the most important thing. Is there intention behind what I'm saying? If I turn around and say, like, if I got a black friend that's sitting here, it's like, oh, mate, how you doing? My favorite black buddy. It's like, well, that's racist. You can't use the word black. So, okay. But if I call you an absolute fucking twat.
Okay, yeah, that's harsh.
Exactly, but which is worse?
Twat, probably.
Well, it is on its own, but all of a sudden I've referenced colour into this. And I used to work in security. I had a lot of black guys that we used to work with. I was, on my first day of working with James, he told me he was the HNIC. You better remember that, buddy. I'm the HNIC. That's all that matters in this group.
Okay, yeah.
You know what the N stands for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it took me a moment to, okay. And I became the honorary N in our group. I mean, that's all they ever used to call me.
Honorary N?
Yeah, without the honorary bit.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no way you're honorary in any way, shape or form.
So, but yeah, and that was just how we used to communicate back and forth with each other in our group, in our pod. And it was totally acceptable. It was totally fine.
So it's
does my using that word make me racist? Apparently so, because I'm white and privileged.
But then so let me argue with you a little bit here. So and it's not just about racism, it's about anything. Your little group are very happy to sit there and talk, and I'm on the outside of your little group. But then if I come into your little group and listen to what you said, you've made me feel slightly hurt and offended. So what do I do in that situation?
Okay, so...
Do I stand up and say, hey guys, look, I really appreciate this is just you having a bit of banter, and I know I personally don't really enjoy this, I'm going to leave the group. Is that what you should do?
So there's two things with that. If we're in a public setting and the people over there's like, look, I don't appreciate you using that language, then I can kind of understand that to a degree. In the same way that, I swear a lot. I'm not sure if you know this, but I do swear a fair amount. I also go to a lot of schools. So... how'd you get away with that? I'm aware that I need to tone down my language.
How does everyone like you? You swear so much. You're so rude. You're so racist. So, people still like you, and sexist, and I'm the one that's hated. Don't get it.
But yeah, so I'm aware I have to curb my language, and if I drop the F-bomb or something and people give me the look, it's like, that's my fault.
Sure.
I'm aware of that. So in the same way with any terminology, there are times and places. When we worked on the radio, there were certain things aside from swearing that you just couldn't talk about or couldn't say. We accept those boundaries. If I'm sitting here with you or with some friends and we're in that realm, having that banter between us, if you're coming into this circle and you're joining this group, there's an acceptance that this is kind of going on. It is not my intention to offend you with any of this. None at all. So please don't take anything I'm saying as offensive. I will call you a twat, I'll call you this and whatever, because it's just part of what we do. If you don't like that and you're not on board with that, then maybe don't be a part of this group. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean you're an idiot. And it doesn't mean that we're sexist, racist, whatever you want to put onto it. That's just how we are as a collective. And you go back to the tribes you were talking about earlier, right?
Thank you for bringing that back.
Whether you've got an infinite number of different tribes and different pods of people, and they all behave and act in certain ways, and they're tribes because they believe in those core values. In my tribe, I believe in swearing like fuckery. If I joined a Catholic tribe, I might not get away with it quite so much, and we might not agree of certain religious aspects, i.e. they love it, I think it's shite. So now I can either jump into that pod and just raise hell, or I can just say, you know what, you guys, you carry on with your Catholicism bullshit and nailing people to crosses. You rock on. And I can be the one to step away.
I'm not sure
I'm
not sure they nail people to crosses anymore.
Right, okay, it's good to know
they stopped that.
On.
Yeah. After it didn't work one time, they're like, oh, fuck, we've got to find something better. It doesn't even kill them.
Yeah.
What a joke that is. Who came up with this execution idea? Cut off their heads.
It didn't work. I'm really cross.
Good
hey, ding, ding. So, but in terms of the issue I have is... there's so much depth to this.
There is so much depth. But can I just say, you think about your issue, but you understand where I'm coming from, where I felt...
Yeah, dude.
I felt intimidated. Now, if we were a group of guys, let's say, and there was a couple of ladies there, and we were all saying, nah, do this, do that, do this is what you should be doing there. No, you're wrong. Don't, God, you got to go men. They would feel intimidated, and they would speak up about it, and they would write a big report saying, oh, we was in this group, and these men said this, and all they cared about was pushing men. That becomes an issue. Yeah. Okay? If I say it on the other side of the fence, it's, get over it.
Yeah.
That's what, and I'm not trying to say that...
It's about finding balance.
But it is finding balance. And I had the same argument about being a father, being able to take my own children outside of the country. Women have so many more rights than I do. And I'm just saying that the tribal thing, it really interests me. And I think it's more the fact that I don't have a tribe, or I don't feel I have a tribe. I feel like I said...
want one.
I don't know if I want one. I don't know if I could ever fit in with one. And maybe it's me having that barrier down, because I don't know what it is, but I just find the whole tribal thing, although I know it comes from caveman days right through to now, when God invented us, no, it's true, Russell. Adam and Eve, come on. They had it off and we're all brothers and sisters. You're my brother, man. I'm not Hulk Hogan, brother. Good t-shirt had on, by the way.
Thank you.
I did. My 80s Hulk Hogan.
I liked it.
Anyway, tribalism. I just find it... I want to do I want to do more and more study on it, and I went and talked about the vegans, and even within the vegan community, there's different tribes within the vegan community, and the whole thing, I actually find it really interesting and really kind of fascinating of how society works and how tribes work and tribes within tribes, and it's mental.
I don't know if I believe this.
Don't sing the R. Kelly song, because I did that in the office the other day, and I realised, I realised you can't do that anymore. Although they did use Michael Jackson's song for the World Peace Day last week, which I thought was also a little bit weird.
But his music was great. I forgot my thread for that.
You were going to sing I Believe I Can Fly.
I don't know if I believe it or if it's just I kind of hold on to that hope that it's more like this. I like to believe that the quote unquote, not silent majority because that's a quirky term, but there's a lot more people like us that don't feel they belong to one particular tribe and will quite happily bounce around. Because if you think about it, the more of us that there are, we're not in one particular tribe, we're bouncing around taking the good from everywhere else. That in a sense makes us a particular tribe. This is just how we operate. And I tend to think the ones that are on the extreme are the only voices that we're hearing, whether it's a religious extreme, political extreme, sporting extreme, whatever extreme, that's all we hear. And we're the ones sitting here going, oh, fucking hell, would you just, whatever, just, you have your, just whatever, and walking away from it because you just can't be bothered with this bullshit. Which is, on one level, you can argue, is good because we're kind of taught, just step away from the argument. Just don't rise to it, just step away. Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high, and all of that sort of shit. And I get it to a point I just feel the problem these days is by just turning the blind eye, turning the other cheek, use any cliche that you want, and just saying, yeah, fine, whatever, we're actually allowing that evil, that horrible, darker side of humanity to just foster and grow. And if you want the biggest picture of that, look at America right now. Because that's all it is. It's just that festering evil that we've just turned a blind eye to and just, oh, they're just fucking idiots. They're just fucking idiots. Just crackpots. Just let them go. And they've just gone whoosh. And now we're all scrounging to try and get, back on the front foot. So when it comes to issues like, name any of them, racism, sexism, whatever, if we're only dealing with people at the extreme, we're never going to win that argument. Because the more you try and fight it, the more you attack it, the more you try and even if you try and agree with them, they will always believe that is the answer. The more you attack it, the further away you push them. The only way you can do that is try and find the ones that are sort of wavering on the edge and have that open discussion. And also accepting that in terms of being men, I mean, we've just grown up as... And you asked about privilege earlier. Yeah, in a lot of ways, we are incredibly privileged, like really ridiculously more privileged than we realize. And we might be sitting here saying, "Well, we're just scrapping to pay rent this month and all that sort of stuff." But even right now, there are people in beyond far worse situations than we're in. So, are we privileged? Fuck yes. In terms of being male, we have had options and opportunities and rights for eternity that women in a collectively short period of time have only ever managed to have. And that is still feeling a constant battle. Our argument might be, right, you know what, we completely agree with equality, but equality is in the middle. And every now and again you kind of feel that, well, we don't want equality, we want our chance at the top. And you kind of think, well, and that's the dynamic. It's like, no, we're kind of happy being even. And when Mandela first came out of prison, there's a reason for linking this, the Afrikaans government in that sort of moment of transition, one of their fears were, but there'll be this massive black uprising and they're going to want to take all the power. So, we couldn't possibly let the blacks be in control. And Mandela was like, well, what's your fear? What is your fear of the blacks taking control? Do you feel that they would do something nasty to you? Why would you think that? And it's like, well, yeah, good point. Because obviously, if you're the whites that are in control and you did nothing bad to us, why would the same be true in reverse? Which was, typical Mandela, well said. But the difficulty is trying to keep people on that middle line, on the level. That just because I say something that's inappropriate doesn't mean I'm a racist, sexist, homophobic twat. It just means, all right, in that moment, it's just something a silly thing to say. If you find it deeply offensive, and you just happen to be here, like I'm not going to say anything offensive to you ever. But if there was someone in the room,
probably not.
Yeah. If there's someone here that I find that a bit close to the bone, I'm going to apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. This is what I think and feel. My intention is not to offend or to hurt you. I'm happy to have this dialogue. If it's just the vernacular that I use that offends you, sure, I can use different terms. But the more important thing shouldn't be the words I'm using. That's what vernacular means. It should be the intention behind them that should be carrying the weight.
Well, do you know what? I think you verbalised that extremely well.
I need to listen back. I'm not entirely sure. I felt I waffled.
Oh, you did waffle, but I waffle quite a lot. That's a year in.
It's a year-long podcast.
And we started off being all happy, and then we got into a debate.
That was the funny thing the other day when you said, we should listen back to the first one. I was like, yeah, just to see how good it started. And just
I think we've hit that high on the second one, and it's all gone downhill since there. No, it's very interesting. You're right. I think the tribalist, it's just something I've been really analysing recently, and I think it's something I still want to analyse and still want to think about. And you're right, a lot of it comes down to how I feel. But
to give you a microcosm of the sport thing, right?
Yeah.
Just very quickly,
Good.
You mentioned about being a Chelsea fan, rah rah rah.
I don't think I said it like that. I think I said it more Chelsea fan, way.
There you go. That was better.
Thanks.
I went to Stamford Bridge with Mark Wilkinson, who's got a book coming out.
Is he?
He does. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Was it last year, whenever I was back in the UK? Anyway, and I'm sat there at the end, and mate, it was Liverpool-Chelsea, and we lost 1-0. But I was sitting with the Chelsea fans, and to say it was just pure bile and vitriol. It was just horrific. You fucking scum, you fucking killers. You don't give a pissing on people. It was just, and they weren't saying it. And there's, again, going back to the whole sort of banter fight. This wasn't banter. This is, I genuinely believe this. I genuinely feel it. I fucking hate you, just because your team's wearing a different colour shirt and playing the same game, and that I don't buy. Whereas you and Liam are Chelsea fans. You still support the same team. And yeah, you want Chelsea to beat Liverpool. I want Liverpool to beat Chelsea. But we tease each other when that happens. And that's it. We just move on and get on with life. We're accepting it's just that moment. It's banter. It's a laugh.
I thought you were about to say you and Liam are Chelsea fans. You both fucking hate each other. I don't hate Liam, by the way. He's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
Russell, it's been a very interesting journey so far. It has been 1 year, 52 episodes, plus a couple of other weird and wonderful bits we've done in between.
We should put a shout out to other people that might want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people lined up.
Because this is your window.
To what?
Well, to the world. This is their window.
Well, the
to
idea
world.
was really to find a new girlfriend, but that hasn't really happened. Anna Rose left.
So we need to find another...
and a couple of other hot chicks we've had have all had boyfriends.
Or married.
And if you notice, some of the girls that we do have on, and this is really sexist, one of our first questions is, do you have a boyfriend?
When you say one of our first questions.
One of my first questions.
Yeah.
No. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us throughout the year. That's all the listener, all 3,000 of you throughout the year. Please don't do them.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive. But yeah, Sumi, Steve, Anna, Carlos, whatever his name was, Isabella, Rianne,
Anna.
Christina Wild, Anna, Peter V. James, Renata Rocks, or Renta Rocks, as I called her. We did Amy, Party Marty,
Anna,
Patrick, Anna, Darian Fox, Darian Fox and Anna. Russell, Aaron, Anna,
Girls,
Darian Fox, Debbie,
loads.
Steve, Colonel, Silvano,
we don't have to list all of them.
Christina,
but I think them all.
Anna, Eric, Anna, Isabella, Anna, what? Darian, Anna.
But if you happen to be listening to the podcast,
thank you very much for
and you
listening.
fancy joining it,
and
being on the pod, do feel free to get in touch. Drop us a line, check out the website, and come and be on the show. This is
Are you trying to wrap this up?
Your window to promote yourself to the world. You can tell us your story, because that's obviously what we're interested in, but also to promote what you're doing here in Phuket, or the wider world, because we do have the World Wide Web.
That's right. If you do want to be on, it's jayleshark at gmail.com. Jayleshark at gmail.com. We won't do an outro on this one. I think we'll just go straight out. And I'll play your advert, because you've got a beach club, haven't you? Canine Point Academy.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but we've got a beach club.
And on that note, we've run out of time. Thank you very much, Russell, for being on the pod. No, thank you very much, mate. It has been an amazing year. Russell has opened Canine Point, which is a dog training facility and luxury kennels, boarding kennels for short stay, long stay, or medium stay. He also has a new beach club.
I do indeed.
Have I? Beach club. Opened every day?
Pretty much.
From this time till this time. I don't know the times. Should I know the times?
Well, technically we're open from 10 till 5.
What are you doing here then? It's 10 o'clock.
It's Monday. It's my day off.
Oh, right. Day off.
So we're technically open from 10 till 5. We're closed on Mondays. However, when we operate our beach club and our daycare services, we are aware that people do operate outside those times. And that's not a problem. We do cater for the early start and the late finishes.
Russell's put his voice on that he has business voice.
Yes, I have indeed. Please contact us at caninepointacademy.com.
That's right. Do it. Russell, thank you very much for another year.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh, I said thank you very much for another year.
That's first year.
So technically, you've signed up now for another 12 months. Thank you very much. You can't go back on that. End of conversation.
PhuketPodcast.com.
Canine Point Academy.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh no, you've chewed my favourite shoes.
Get off the bed. Get out.
Patch, get out the bin now.
Oh my God. What have you done?
Does this sound familiar to you? Well, panic not. Help is very much at hand here at Canine Point. Whether you just want a bit more obedience from your dog or need some help with some issues, get in touch at caninepointacademy.com.